all of you loyal viewers to the University of Smooth, there's a question that you've probably asked yourself. Is Nixon the Dark like the hottest dude on the entirety of the internet? There are billions of men out there, but there can't possibly be anybody hotter than Nixon the Dark. Welcome back, guys. Today, a lesson in game. Default to cocky funny. I hope you recognize I was doing a little cocky funny there at the outset with that cold open. In the annals of game, there's a concept called cocky funny. You know what cocky is, you know what funny is. When you combine them in your ability to interact with men and women, what you're doing is sending a baseline level of social and emotional strength. Cocky and funny as a default disposition when dealing with other people is how you maintain a minimal level of self-confidence. And that is critical because, as we say, women are always looking for protection from men. And they measure it in terms of strength. It may not necessarily be physical strength, it may not be status, but it is confidence, social and emotional strength. And it's a very, very powerful signal that women are looking for. Cocky funny is the default disposition for achieving that balance, that calibration in terms of how you interact with a woman. There are different other ways to win, but this is one of those. It's called a default because it's like if you don't know what else you're doing, just default to being a little arrogant, but with a lot of humor mixed in so that you're showing that you can signal status but not take yourself too seriously. The two polar opposites of cocky funny can signal weakness. I call this the arrogance humility paradox. Humility is a male virtue. If you're religious, you'll have a great understanding of the fact that to be genuinely humble is profoundly a virtue. Problem is that this too frequently in interacting with other people signals weakness. This is contextual. It's our view that genuine humility does come from strength. The problem is people too often signal weakness and think that they're signaling humility. This is being nice. This is being deferential. This is being voluntarily low status and meek and shying away from confrontation. All of those things sound like they are actual humility. It suggests you're being virtuous. That's not what women respond to when it comes to male value, when it comes to attraction. They respond to strength. So get the idea that humility is a virtue, disregard that for now. And if nothing else, ask yourself whether these meek, mild, nice behaviors that you may have been engaging in when dealing with women, ask if they're actually humble or if they're just a sense of humility that you believe in or you've convinced yourself are a virtue because, in fact, you're operating from fear. Fear always signals weakness, and that's why it's important for you to focus on signaling strength. And if you do not have a good sense of what humility truly means, default to cocky and funny. The arrogant side of that paradox has to do with signaling weakness via insecurity. The easiest way to explain this is it's cocky without funny. If you are pumping yourself up, showing off your own status, especially doing it at the expense of another person, especially another man, and you have no sense of fun, no sense of playfulness, what you're doing is saying these other people get under my skin and I'm going to do this. I'm going to say things that cut them down to raise myself up. And if you do this without any sense of irony, without any sense of fun, without any sense of humor, then people go, oh, this is somebody who's operating from weakness. Good example. Let's say you're talking to some girl that you know, you're part of some sort of social circle, even if it's just a loose one, and some other guy's name comes up. And you have this reflex to cut him down because he seems like a threat to you. Perhaps it actually is a threat. If you do that without any sense of fun, all you're signaling to that woman is, oh, this guy is stronger than me. This guy over here, who I'm trying to convince you is low status, I'm actually convincing you that I'm low status because I'm being very sincere in trying to sell you on the idea that he's worthless. But if you do it with a sense of fun and a sense of play, then it's kind of a wash. Having said that, if you're not really good at using humor to take the edge out of that kind of comment, that kind of trash talk, then proceed very, very cautiously. The key bedrock concept for understanding and emulating cocky funny is kayfabe. For those of you who don't know, kayfabe refers to the professional wrestling concept of having a narrative that the audience is kind of in on. It's this playful, fun way of maintaining a character while winking at the audience and sort of showing them that it's performative and it's not all that serious. If you have time for it, study how wrestlers do it. Study how they're being performative when they're puffing themselves up. They're showing that this is fun, that this is a fun process, that this is a show, that this is how we demonstrate and trigger and stimulate emotions and take you on a journey. It's part of telling the story. Wrestling, to a large degree, is a male soap opera because it tells a story and it uses kayfabe to really punctuate the emotional inflection points of that story. So when you are interacting with other people, especially when you're interacting with women, if you're doing nothing more than saying, like, I need to make sure I'm not signaling weakness, all right, default to cocky funny until you know how to express yourself in other ways. Just learn how to always puff yourself up and then insert a joke here and there to let them know that you're not taking anything too seriously. That's a baseline signal of strength that you want to get practice at whenever you're interacting with people, especially women. Thanks for listening. Like, subscribe, and maybe get some face paint going, maybe get some spandex and really, really live that gimmick. Take care.